everybody, welcome back to my fake cooking show. I don't know what is on the menu at your house, but tonight Doro Wat chicken is on the menu here. I love Ethiopian food, and I don't know if I've told you the story or not, but my sister and I both fell in love with Ethiopian food about the same time. I've got one large onion, kind of getting translucent, and a little butter, and I've got I'm just doing a small batch. I will give you a big recipe for 4 big chicken broths that feeds 4 people really well, 6 people really comfortably, especially if you have other things. If you have injera bread, then it could feed 10, because that bread will stop you fast. You're just eating it and you're thinking, oh, this is so good and kind of soury and just so yummy, and then all of a sudden it hits you like a train. So what I've got is I've got butter, I've got an onion in there, and I'm just kind of getting the paste to warm up. I'm going to add a cup of water. I'm really doing just a small batch, because what I'm looking for is dinner tonight, and then I'm looking for a little extra to feed us for the weekend. So I'm just looking to really kind of make a sauce. And the only thing I'm going to add that's not traditional is I'm going to add a little tomato, crushed tomatoes as well, because I've got another dish that I'm working on the side, and I just had it extra, and it'll do nothing but make it richer. So a little tomato paste, a cup of water, the onions, a little butter, and then we are ready for this glorious spice. Look at that. Oh my gosh, it's so yummy. So yummy. Here's the name of it. Burberry. And I bought this in a ridiculously great spice shop in Maine. Where in Maine? Brunswick, Maine. This wonderful spice shop. So with the tomato paste, with the water, with the onion, with a little bit of butter, I'm going to put in 1/4 of a cup. I would usually do, if I'm doing a full service, a full recipe, I would do 3/4 of a cup. But basically, this is going to make this really rich, earthy, just warm, kind of a curry, and it's so good. And this is really the base to a ton of different Ethiopian dishes. You can have it with beef, you can have it with lamb, you can have it with goat. Tonight I'm gonna do chicken. Sometimes I do it with fish, but tonight I'm just doing it, and look at that rich color, right? So I'm just gonna let that kind of warm up a little bit more. And then I'm gonna add some garlic, some minced garlic that I had, that I chopped up, a little bit of butter. It's kind of like Ethiopia's answer to butter chicken, but it's so good. So we've got that. I also, I'm gonna put a little pepper in. I've got this on a medium heat right now. Put a little pepper in as well. So I've got my chicken. You can see my chicken cut up back here. I've got my tomato sauce, or just my diced tomatoes, what's left. I like to put in, alongside the onions, I like to put in carrots, and I like to put in potatoes, just because I think they're yummy, and they're so good when they've sat in this sauce. But the carrots we have are purple, and I went ahead and partially just started, kind of parboiled a little the potatoes, and I just have one big potato, and I chunked it up, and I pretty much have it in the same size as the chicken and everything else, so that everybody kind of cooks together. So I've got these guys going, and it is really good and kind of a paste. Oh my goodness, I wish you could smell this, because it's so yummy. So once the butter is melted and I've got this really kind of thick sauce, I'm ready for the chicken. And the chicken is really what I want, what I'm worried about cooking, right? So I've got the chicken in, get that in, get it all colored and kind of moved around. I'm gonna add the tomato sauce in now, or the crushed tomatoes, and a little bit of juice, not a lot. That's just gonna give me a little bit more sauce. We're mindful that that chicken is also gonna let go of its juices, and with its juices are gonna come more liquid, right? So that's gonna be good too. I fell in love with Ethiopian food when I was in college, and I over the years took a ton of, in my my early 20s, my late teens, my early 20s. My sister and I both found the same place that we loved in Berkeley, and took each other there one day thinking that we were going to have this really fun day of eating and just enjoying Berkeley, and it was the same place. So that was kind of funny. So we ended up at a place that our mom loved, but and in that same regard, we took our mom to the Blue Nile. Raise your hand if I've taken you to the Blue Nile, or we've been to the Blue Nile together. We took our mom to the Blue Nile for Mother's Day one year, and we thought it was a really fun idea. And our mom really loved silverware, which is ironic because sometimes she didn't. Ask my sister Kim or I about pineapple, because that's a funny story. But needless to say, we took her for Ethiopian food, and we got there, and it's family style. It comes on this really beautiful big platter, and you just kind of rip off a piece of bread, and then you scoop it up and you eat it, and oh my goodness, I really believe that's what heaven smells like and tastes like. And my mother's just infamous tagline at that moment was, "I'm so glad you enjoy it." She did not. It was probably a little too spicy for her, and it was probably a little too much to eat with her hands. But Judith Marshall, respect you, and be you, right? So this is what it looks like. It's just basically a big stew. It's got the vegetables in it. It's got the chicken in it. It's just gonna sit in this sauce, and I'm gonna let it cook for an hour. And you can't imagine how yummy this is gonna be. I will show it to you. We have some leftover rice. That's not customary, but we have some leftover rice from a takeout Chinese we did, talking about my mom earlier, and that will be great with this. So this sauce, I wish I had some bread to go with it. There's a ridiculously great Ethiopian restaurant in New Brunswick, just above us, a couple of miles, and we love to go up there, although I don't think I've been since I went with Karen. Those were the days when we could go and restaurants were open and you could sit down and all those things. But until then, we'll take out and enjoy from home, or just make it ourselves. So if you haven't had Ethiopian food, this could be the dish to start with. If you have had Ethiopian food and you have a favorite that is not Doro Wat chicken, please let me know. And if you have a recipe, I'd love to know that. What other foods did you not grow up with that you love? I'd love to hear those stories. Okay, friends, hope you have a good day. Bon appetit.